I had to clean that up.
Wait, saying swearing at the producer? I don't do that. Now, Josh, on the other hand, Eagles are cruising. It feels like a productive, told you, we could air it out win against the Steelers. Quieted all the drama. Not so fast, according to future Hall of Famer Julian Edelman. Look at the playoff numbers. Take a listen.
When you have a run game like with Saquon, a generational running back, he masks a lot of things. And winning masks everything. But this will go and catch up to them in the playoffs. It would surprise me if they went on and won the Super Bowl because there's going to be a fundamentally sound team that's going to be mentally tough, that's not going to go down this road, that's going to handle them.
Okay. Bro?
Well, first of all, I get why he feels that way. He was in New England the last year of the great Randy Moss. They got beaten the first round of the playoffs, the wild card round. He was there with Chad Ochocinco, and they obviously, it didn't really work out. And so I think, guys that have been viewed as diva receivers, he's never seen it work out. So he said that later in the interview, I've never seen that work out. But I think he's wrong on this one. And I say that because if they get beat in the playoffs, it's going to be because Jalen couldn't throw it well enough. Or I think Detroit and Green Bay, these teams that are close to them, will just beat them on that day. I don't think it'll be because there's friction between AJ and Jalen, because there was at least perceived friction in 2022 when they got to the Super Bowl and fell 4 points shy of beating the Chiefs. A.J. Brown had this, there were the same things going on the sideline, the histrionics. It looked like he wasn't happy when he wasn't getting the ball. All of that was happening 2 years ago. They still won the NFC and played well against the Chiefs. So I don't think this will be their downfall if they don't get to the Super Bowl.
I agree with a lot of what he's saying, and then there's some that I disagree. What I do agree with is if there is a lack of respect for the head coach in Sirianni, and it's being masked because of some of the winning that's taking place, and they're in a position in the postseason where he has to make a call and they're not all in agreement, that could potentially kind of rise up and kind of bite them in the butt a little bit. But that's one way. What I disagree with is the idea of almost how matter-of-factly he said it will come back and bite them.
I like that.
Because there is a scenario where a team with this amount of personality and vibrant energy can thrive. We had it in Green Bay the year we won it. And we had a leader in Charles Woodson at the end of the regular season come and bring us all together after one of the practices and tell us, look, guys, I've accomplished a lot as an individual. There's one thing that's eluded me, and if there's one way we accomplish this, it's with no ego. One mind, one purpose, one heart. All these things were literally then, as we went on with that in mind, we held each other accountable throughout the course of the postseason, and the rest is history, and it's engraved on our Super Bowl ring because of the no ego. So they can have all these egos right now.
So there were a lot of ego issues going on in the regular
you got to
season.
think, we had a lot of skill guys, a lot of guys who felt like they should be playing, should get the ball more, running backs that felt like they needed to be featured a little bit more. So there was a lot of personality there, but you have to have a individual, and we had that in Charles Woodson.
So that's kind of my concern.
Oh, my God.
You don't think they have that?
I don't know. I thought this is one of the reasons I thought the loss of Kelsey was so big, right?
My God.
Kelsey was the most respected guy in the locker room, arguably, in a weird way, the best player on the team. Certainly, one of the few or maybe not first ballot, but no doubt Hall of Famers on the team, Jason Kelsey, and he's gone.
But he couldn't stop last year.
Last year I think it was some emotional, spiritual funk, and some of it was the defense was terrible. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of both of those things. The guy who fits the bill of what you're describing for this team, I think, is Brandon Graham. He's not playing, and he unintentionally kind of added to the fire. It does not seem like Jalen can do that.
I would have thought he would have, like a couple
it doesn't
years ago.
Seem like he has the true relationship with guys to do that.
Did you see this Glazer report?
Tell me.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Maybe I did. I don't. About the guys going to his house and saying
and
I pray
Brandon
those
Graham
Jays.
brought
not
Big
real.
Dom. Big Dom. I didn't know Big Dom.
I think Big Dom might have to
Big
do
Dom,
it, bro.
yeah. But Brandon Graham and Big Dom went to Jalen's house and was like, "Hey,
We need
the
you to connect with
quarterbacking
these
is
guys."
great. We need some extra connection."
And
Jalen absorbed it, and I don't know.
That was within the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't have it perfect.
But
before the bye week, Dusty's telling me via Glazer.
Before the bye.
that
So
he
not
does
since.
need to
So
do.
that post that was A.J. Brown's commentary about the passing, all of it. So then it's like the person who came to mind for me is, because was that Woodson's first year with you guys?
No.
Okay, I mean is like, can Saquon do that? But that doesn't really seem like
So that's
his
that's
personality.
good
exactly.
if
But
that's
that's
his
the
person.
person that I feel like it would have to be
Because he's been so great.
He's been so great. He has the respect. We heard A.J. Brown talk about him being the greatest player. You might be the greatest player in the world. So he has the ear of these guys. He has the respect of all the offensive linemen. He's going to be respectful and mindful. He's never going to disclude or exclude himself.
Yeah.
He's going to always be a part of it. So if there is a person, it would be Saquon.
Okay. To say that the Eagles don't have this leadership is just so insane. They have it from ownership, from the front office. They have it in coaching. They have it from the players. They have it in every level that you would ever need it from your football team. They have it in every level with multiple people. This team does have Sirianni's ear. Sirianni does have their ears. Saquon can be the leader, is a leader, has been awesome. Are we forgetting about people like Lane Johnson, Mailata, and Brandon Graham? Yeah, okay, that wasn't a great interview. Brandon Graham still has a tremendous amount of pull there. Heck, if you want to argue Jason Kelce is still around. Jason Kelce is still 100% around. He still lives and breathes Philadelphia Eagles. So we need to stop. You got Fangio. There's so much veteranship there and experience there that they have it. And Jalen Hurts. That Big Dom Brandon Graham story or whatever the heck it was. That is such nonsense. Get out of here. My God. What are we doing here? Seriously, what are we doing here? What are these nonsense storylines? It just doesn't make sense. And right, the fact that he said it with such confidence, it's gonna catch up to you. What are you basing that off? What are you even talking about? Because he was talking about that whole issue with Carter on the sideline and Sirianni and whatnot. That's what that clip stemmed from. And I talked about this with the herd. When you literally had Long out there, who played for the Patriots and the Eagles, be like, this is not a big deal. What are you talking about? And highlighted all the positives. So we need to just stop. We're just making stuff up now for the sake of making stuff up. It's just absurd. Again, let's look at the Chiefs versus the 49ers last year. We know the Chiefs won that Super Bowl. The 49ers had no fights. They were together, united. They believed in their guys. They had Christian McCaffrey. They believed in Brock Purdy a tremendous amount, Kittle, all that type of stuff. The Kansas City Chiefs had Travis Kelce yelling and bumping into the face of Andy Reid and Rashee Rice yelling at Patrick Mahomes, getting in a fight with him on the sideline of the Super Bowl. Who won? That's right, the Kansas City Chiefs. And don't tell me, well, that's the Kansas City Chiefs. You're right. This Eagles team is actually better than what that team was last year. They're more complete. They have a better offense. They have I don't know if they have a better defense, but they definitely have a better offense. Yeah, the Chiefs are better coached. I'm not denying that. And I believe Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. But it wasn't Patrick Mahomes' heroics that led them to that Super Bowl win. Definitely not. He obviously played well. He turned the ball over. He threw one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen in a Super Bowl. His defense picked him up. Because, oh my God, it's a team sport. This is just... We keep just trying to find ways to drum up more nonsense. And for the life of me, I don't understand why. When we talk about the Ravens and the Bills and the Chiefs, and I'm trying to think of any other top teams. Those are the main teams, especially for the last few years. It's really been the most talked about teams are the Bills, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the 49ers, and the Eagles. When we talk about the Ravens, though, talk about the Bills, even if we disagree with some of the takes, like Lamar Jackson can't handle the big moments, or Josh Allen's not good enough to win to carry the team to a Super Bowl, at least there feels that, even if we disagree with some of those takes, at least if they're not like stirring up stuff for the sake of it, they can still point to like concrete things. Like I just did a video where I just disagreed with what Nick had to say about Lamar Jackson and about his ability to play in big games, but at least there was still something there to really like look at and touch and talk to. But with this, like, this is manufactured. And this is all the information, this is all the content that keeps getting created by the Philadelphia Eagles. And that's the thing that is just obnoxious at this point. And if they somehow lose, it's just going to be because of this. The Eagles don't have this. They're acting like this team is just wrecked with drama, when in reality they've been incredibly resilient. I think they brought on some noise to themselves with AJ Brown and Brandon Graham. I called them out for that. But to act like this is somehow just the end of them, or that this is just this prevailing issue, that's just absurd. It is. I remember when everyone kept saying Travis Kelce's so distracted. Taylor Swift, he threw his helmet. He wanted his helmet to go back in this game, and Andy Reid had to like fight to stop him from even getting his helmet. And everybody was like, that's the end of the Chiefs. They still won. And it wasn't because of Patrick Mahomes' leadership. It just wasn't. I mean, again, you can make the argument. I don't know how much those guys really listen to him like that. Like I said, if your big wide receiver is yelling at him on the sideline, so this whole idea that some of these people who have won or achieved high things, that they are the ones that truly know what it takes. They know what it takes to win. And everyone else, you don't. I got the rings. You don't. It is a very, very, very narrow way. The way how Mark Cuban made his billions is so different than how Elon Musk made his. The way how Jeff Bezos started Amazon is vastly different how Google started theirs. The way how Apple was created was vastly different of Microsoft. This idea that there's one way to get to the mountaintop, it's just so fundamentally incorrect. It's just not right. And yet the people that reach it think it's an ego thing. They're like, I know how to get this job done because I've done it. You haven't. Therefore, you don't know I do. And again, if that was the case, then why did Bill Belichick, who still continued with that same culture, that same atmosphere, that same buttoned up, don't step out of line, why did that not lead to winning? Why did that not lead to greatness? Was it maybe because Tom Brady was able to overcome some of that stuff? So great play was? Was someone like Julian Edelman able to rise to the occasion? I think so. Haven't the Eagles literally proven to do that? Yeah, I think so. It's just, I don't know, man. It's really kind of hilarious. How much did Tom Brady respect the coach for Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Not a lot. He literally got him, I guess, technically promoted but fired. How much did AB respect Tom Brady? We know not a lot based off of the comments that he did, that he said. We know that. That's literally Tom Brady. Again, I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying that this Eagles team right now is, a dynasty like the Patriots or whatnot, or the Chiefs. That's not the argument. But the argument is that they're seeing it through this lens of binary, of our way is 100% the truth, and anything that doesn't fit in that cookie cutter is not only not capable of winning, but it's 100% wrong. And that's why I love that Greg pointed out the matter-of-factness, the confidence. It's going to catch up to them. It will catch up to them in the playoffs. If the Kansas City Chiefs ended up losing in that Super Bowl, everybody would have pointed to Travis Kelce bumping into Andy Reid and Rashee Rice yelling at Patrick Mahomes. No doubt about it. And the whole narrative would have been like, the dynasty's over. Do they trust Andy Reid? Is Patrick Mahomes a good leader? They did this nonsense with Steph Curry last year. Do the players respect Steph? I had to sit here and listen to that nonsense. Having a whole conversation about it on this very show. It's just, I don't know, man. More made up nonsense left and right. In a perfect world, would everybody be holding hands and singing Kumbaya? Absolutely. And you know what? Part of why they blame Bill Belichick for not being able to continue to win after Tom Brady left and just kind of over the last X amount of years was because his inability to work with people that were going to be more difficult. He only wanted to work with people who he knew were going to be kind of like good little soldiers. And in fact, Con Coward praised Harbaugh for being difficult and ruffling feathers and being able to work with people who he doesn't want to actually be with but knows he needs to win. That is the ABs of the world. That is the, the diva receivers, the difficult linemen, the difficult left tackle, the guys who have off the field issues. I mean, Andy Reid's a legend for bringing in guys with issues off the field. I mean, I don't think anyone has ever done it more than him, to the point where that's why some people don't like Andy Reid. That's actually one of the big issues. I remember I was rehabbing, I think my knee surgery or my shoulder, or my broken clavicle. And actually, I was like, I'm rooting for Andy Reid. I want to see him win the Super Bowl. I forget what year it was. And she's like, Andy Reid's a terrible person. And I was like, okay. And I didn't really want to have this conversation with some random woman in there. She's like, all the things that he does for people who do bad things. And I was like, please leave me alone. And I was like trying to find my physical therapist. I was like, so we're doing this exercise now? Like, what are we doing? And she just kept going on and on and on. And it's like, and again, I understand Andy Reid's obviously an amazing coach. And when you're that amazing in the leadership, you can overcome some of these said issues. But there's no evidence to suggest that the Eagles don't have the culture or the ability to do that. They brought in Carter, that many people passed on. You think they regret it? I know they regret it. A guy opens his door and gets knocked down, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks. That's who the Philadelphia Eagles are. Best of luck to you. Best of luck to you. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles? Do you think they're in trouble? Do you agree with Julian? He's got a great name. I'll give him that. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.